blessing. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, God, it's hard to hold those notes, man. Whew, almost hurt myself. So how are we all doing out there? Great to have you all here this morning. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. Believe it or not, I'm the spiritual director here at our Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And we have a little thing that we do here called hugs and handshakes. We just take a moment and check in with each other and say, Happy Sunday.
Just take that old records off the shelf. I'll sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul as the old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You never even get me out on the floor. 10 minutes, I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. Old time rock and roll. The kind of music just soothes my soul. Reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Won't hear you take it to a tango. I'd rather hear some blues or funky old soul. There's only one sure way to get me to go. Stop playing old time rock and roll. Call me a relic, call me what you will. Say I'm old fashioned, call me over the hill. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Do you like that old time rock and roll? The kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll.
That'll get you going like a second cup of coffee. All right, so help me welcome to the platform Reverend Jessica Fish, our presider this morning. All right, so batten down the hatches. So let's all take a deep, conscious breath. Exhaling, allowing ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Jessica lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Jessica lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Yes, we sit in agreement in these chairs, knowing that there is only love. That is our life, God's life. And I know that because we're here in this service, that we are awakening to our spiritual magnificence, knowing that there is only God and that we live God's life. I know that this service is blessed. I know that the audiovisual in the booth, Nikki and Mike are blessed. Our love streamers are blessed. Our musicians are blessed. Our children in the children's church are blessed. Reverend Michael McMorrow coming forward to give God's message to land on God's ears is blessed. Yes, we're not here for worship entertainment. We're here to awaken to our spiritual magnificence. We're here to deepen in love. How grateful I am to be in this community, Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, to just feel that expansion of love, the open heart. So we just let it be. We allow it. We open our hearts and allow this service to come forth and be love. And we can affirm this by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, Ken. So, there's something you need to know about me and Science of Mind. That, for me, Science of Mind is wrapped up in that one quote from Ernest Holmes. Love points the way, and the law makes the way possible. I want you to know that about me. We're reading Wallace Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich in Dr. Maureen's Wednesday night class. Wattles is a very straightforward guy. He says, you know, you direct your thoughts only in the direction of what you want to see manifest in your life. So it's kind of like taking that second half, the law makes the way possible, okay? And really expanding on that. We're not supposed to look at news of poverty or unless we want poverty in our lives. Wattles talks about how we're the ones that are responsible for our own choices and therefore what we manifest in our lives. We're supposed to keep our thoughts on wealth, and then we'll experience wealth. It really talks a lot about self-reliance. We're in charge. We're in choice. So I find this very helpful for manifesting in my life, but I feel that it lacks the balance of compassion. That's where I love about Science of Mind. Love points the way. That's where I come from. Love is the foundation of my life. And I want to manifest love in my life, then I do it through my thoughts. I do it through the law, putting my thoughts into the creative medium and knowing that it'll manifest. You'll find references to love all over in Ernest Holmes' writings. Ernest Holmes is the founder of Science of Mind. Here's one of his great quotes that I saw on a post yesterday. The great love which I now feel for the world is the love of God, and it is felt by all and comes back to me from all. I understand all people, and this understanding reflected to me from all. I give friendship, and therefore I have friends. I help, therefore I am helped. I uplift, therefore I am uplifted. I am now surrounded by all love, by friendship, all companionship, all health, all happiness, all success. I am one with life. Now to me, that is talking about manifesting, but it's talking about coming from that place of love. There is one heart that's common to all men. That is the heart of reality, the heart of God, the heart of the universe. And it never leaves us. It never leaves us. So it's never tired. So you mention the name of the person you wish to help, declare that this truth of love is true about them, and you've entered into the great affirmation of life. This is how I want to manifest. And this is how I know here at this center we manifest, because when I walk through the doors, the feeling of love just slams into me. You know, we are coming from this place of love. We are living Science of Mind, in my opinion, the way it's supposed to be lived. That we know that we're living God's life. We know how to work the law. Change your thinking, and change how you think, and then you're impressing that into the creative medium, and you bring what you think into form. But we're doing it from that direct experience of love. So I don't know about you, but the way that I get to that direct experience of love is through that meditation, where I train my mind to quit thinking and just get straight to love. So I invite you to strengthen your practice of meditation, strengthen your practice of love, and then the law makes the way possible. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Please welcome filling in on bass today, Mr. Jordan Richards. On keys, David Olivas today. Every weekend's different. And we are thrilled to have with us today my friend, Mr. Jerry Reiki.
when the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. Oh, I won't be afraid, no, I won't be afraid, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, oh, I won't shed a tear. No, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand now? Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me, stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Won't you stand by me? Oh, darling, stand by me. So stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, darling, stand by me.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful, yes? I'll stand by Jerry. Will you stand by Jerry? Will you stand by me? I heard a no out there. So, good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see you all. It's wonderful to see new friends returning. We're happy to see you again, and it's wonderful to see new friends for the first time. So, welcome, everybody. I'm going to highlight some. Oh, before I forget, see this pretty pin I'm wearing? It's not mine. Somebody lost it. So if this is yours, it's here for you. It's two dancers. It's very pretty. See that? Nobody wants to claim it? Okay, we'll hold on to it for a while. So today there's nothing happening, I think, except for all of us being here right now, except for me, Mike said, except for you. Wednesday, August 9th, from 9:30 till 12:30 is the Spiritual Cinema Sangha with Reverend Jeannie Hoffman. Sangha is one of our most popular events here at the church, I think. I've never been because I work. Some of us have to. And anyway, come join that group on Wednesday mornings at 9:30. Also, Wednesday, August 9th at 6 o'clock, everyone is invited to join Reverend Mike for visioning for the highest and best for this center. So August 9th at 6 o'clock, that's this coming Wednesday, right? Yeah, this coming Wednesday. And if you're in the class, it won't interfere with that, right? Because it's an hour before class. Saturday, August 12th at 1 p.m. is our Animal Kinship Ministry meeting with Reverend Kathy. And please join us in consciousness at least, or call if you feel moved to, and welcome our new office administrator and communications coordinator. Her name is Erin Nell. She's lovely, and I understand from Barbara that she's doing a fantastic job. Barbara's like, yes. So she's catching on really quickly and moving through the training really, really well. So if you call, probably in the mornings, you'll speak to Erin. So welcome her and make her feel welcome. Any other activities that are ongoing, you will find listed in your program. So come check us out. We got a lot going on here. And blessings to everyone. Oh, sorry, I missed Brenda's coming up again. I don't know, did anybody here go to her last show? Oh, do you want to talk about it, Brenda?
Okay.
Okay, good.
I get a chance to work with the best band ever and two wonderful backup singers. And I'm doing music that I call outside the box because I'm doing music that I don't normally do. So it's everything from the Beatles to Santana to Adele. I like to call it dance in your seat music. So it's August 20th, and so I'm hoping that we did really good for Super Bowl Sunday when I did it in February. So I'm hoping that we're not up against Super Bowl Sunday, that we do just as well this time. And with your help, I could. So hopefully I get to stay there.
Did anybody get a chance to hear her sing at service last Sunday? You got to go see her. It's just amazing. And before we stand to do our principles, I want to thank God Expressing as Mike Carlin for opening the vent. All this cold air pouring on me is a blessing. All right, let's all stand for our principles. All right, let's say it loudly. We believe in the one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnate in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon the law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all. Good.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God. I release and I let go.
And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Here for God.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Here we go, yeah. I'm only here for God. One more time now.
Yeah. So nice job, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, nice job. Nice job, Jerry. Thanks again. So it's good to be back and see you all. Again, if you weren't here last week, I wasn't either. I was in Ohio visiting my dad and my stepmother, Eileen. Ohio is a beautiful place. Really green. Yeah, I even saw some fire. I had to go looking for them, but I saw some lightning bugs, as we called them when I was a kid. But they weren't like all over the place like I remember them, because it didn't get quite hot and muggy enough, which I'm not complaining about. So, but you know what? One thing about Ohio, people are really friendly there. Yeah, it was nice. And it's very Irish and Catholic, or at least the neighborhood I was hanging out in, and different from California in good ways. Now, it's not Hawaii, right? I kept looking around at all that green, and I just kept thinking, winter is coming, right? Yeah, I can't get away from Game of Thrones, no matter where. So, and just a quick update. So, my dad's doing much better. I heard some stories. It wasn't like Death Watch 2017. It wasn't that kind of deal. I was just going home to check on him, see how he was doing. So he needs oxygen 24/7, which turns out we all do. Right? He just now has a tube, with a little generator. And so his attitude is good. So he did have some concerns about a failure to thrive thing going on, but he's doing great. And a wonderful example. Of course, for someone who's a religious scientist, everything is a lesson, right? So to me, this was a wonderful example, watching my dad work through this, on how to transform an extraordinary challenge to a value-added life. Because he's not digging it much, right? He's got to dig this line around, and it's going through the house and so forth. So he has shifted it. So he's working with this attitude. There has been a shift in consciousness that we can all learn from. That when we change the way that we think about our life, we change our life. So my dad is thriving within this situation, even though it's not optimal compared to what he knew as his life. He's now into this other mode where he's not only making the best of things, but he's enjoying his life and enjoying the company of my stepmother, which is nice to see, right? Seeing an 80-year-old guy, holding hands and that kind of thing. Yeah, kind of sweet, a little mushy, but kind of sweet. So my dad has to be tethered to oxygen now, and that's a pain in the backside to be sure. But the alternative is, you got to breathe to live, and if you're going to breathe oxygen, you got to breathe oxygen in order to be more mobile, and if you're more mobile, then you're more engaged in life, right? So, and behind it all, for my dad, a strong and committed spiritual practice. So this starts, now my dad is Irish and Catholic, and a retired chief master sergeant. So there's a lot of structure in this life, and the life that I grew up in. So it starts with a morning offering and his prayer list, and he has his little breviary that he uses. And then the rosary at 11:30, followed by Mass at noon on TV, right? So this is all on television now. And evening prayers at the end of the day. It was kind of like living in a monastery for 4 or 5 days. So between Michael Carlin's mom's funeral, which was a few weeks ago, and hanging with my dad for a week, I have been immersed in Spaceship Catholica these past 2 or 3 weeks, to be sure. And it's good. It's good to look over. It's good to look back and look over the ground that you've covered, right? And to become clear about mapping out where you're headed. So we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I know a lot of people most of us are transplants from other teachings, and there's absolutely no reason to throw out the stuff that worked, and rather to embrace that, and then use what you find here. and use it. So this is, in Catholicism, there's a derogatory term called cafeteria Catholics, who pick and choose, and that's frowned upon. But you can be a cafeteria religious scientist. That's allowed. We take our good where we find it. That's one of our key tenets. So it's good to be reminded about why I've stepped away from that practice, and to remember that it was done for myself. It was done with respect and without malice in my heart. And like I said, I know that's not always the case for folks. And see if this may be true for you. So what I know now is that I now know that my heart is one with the one power and the one presence, the living spirit, and the living intelligence that God is, the source and substance of all life. And that I know that this power and presence is demonstrating in, through, and as this manifest universe in ways seen and unseen, in ways that I didn't know in my old faith system. That I understand and know that this power and this presence is demonstrating as you right now. It's demonstrating as me. It's demonstrating as everyone and everything, including all religious thought and experience. It's all valid and it's all necessary. And it's all necessary, otherwise it wouldn't be here. So think of like the gnarliest challenge that you may now be going through or have gone through in your life. It's all necessary or else it wouldn't be here. So then what's the big call? The call is to shift it. How can I shift it and experience more of the abundance and blessing of life? So it's all necessary or else it wouldn't be here. Now this can be challenging when other belief systems do not hold this to be true. So, but never mind that. I hold it to be true. You hold it to be true. And that's what matters. See, the one thing that this teaching really calls for us to do is to really own your belief, to own it, to know it. And if you're feeling a little agnostic-y around some of it, to own that and be okay with it. And to see it as just working our edge. Just working our edge. And what does that mean? So it's like, let's say you can do 10 push-ups, and the 11th one, your arms are shaking, and maybe you're afraid you're going to hurt. Well, don't do the 11th one until you're ready. Work the edge. Don't stop at 8. So, I came to see for myself that I no longer practice that particular faith system, not because I don't believe in it so much, for there are parts that I still embrace, but rather that I am agnostic about parts of it, which means I don't know. The resurrection thing, I'd like for it to be true, but I don't know. Walking on water, I don't know. No one else has done it. No one else has claimed to have done it. The Eucharist, apostolic succession. And so, by definition, I'm not a Catholic. And what I had this realization also in talking to my dad when one more time he was telling me about praying to come back to the one true faith, that I'm also, it was, there were parts that were definitely working my practice. So, but I am not a Protestant either. So this teaching is not a Protestant teaching. Because I'm not protesting against anything in this arena. New Thought is not a Protestant belief system. It's a transcendentalist practice. Transcendentalist practice. And this is something that if you don't know much about it, if you go on the internet and check out the Transcendentalists, this will excite you some. Because these folks were deep thinkers and really deeply considered the nature of God in the universe, the nature of God in nature, our place in it, the power of thought, that it not only allowed for, but invited invited the activity of engaging the power of reason to grow in our faith in the divine in a new way. So what if it's not a CYA spiritual practice? Right? What if no one's holding a gun to your head to say, believe in me or burn forever? Right? What if it's not that? What if it's, hey man, here it is. Here it is. It's all yours. Right? But you gotta be clear on what you want, because all I hear is yes. So in your deepest desire, I say yes to that. So we are no longer fighting anyone or anything. Even in our frustrations around the outer world, in our frustrations around in our relationships within our, whether they're in business or at home or with our children or with life, that we cease fighting anyone or anything and instead know that as we stay committed to see God the good in all things, it shows up in our outer affairs. This is the truth. So in here, in this place, in this community, we practice love, tolerance, and understanding for all peoples, all races, all genders. We are not concerned about who you love, but rather that you love. Do you understand that? That's a subtle difference. That you love. To stop playing small in our lives around the power of love and to know the healing power and agency and authority that love gives us. Now, I'm not talking about some codependent thing without boundaries, right? So does compassion have boundaries in it? You bet it does. You bet it does. Am I practicing compassion to an addict when I put a drink in front of them? You can have one. Or I give them money because they're broke, because they need to pay their rent, but I know they're spending a few $100s a month on the party or more. Am I practicing compassion then? Of course not. Am I practicing compassion when I allow someone who's a rager and to practice going off and being reactive in my life without setting boundaries? Am I practicing compassion then? No. So we want to love with detachment. Without strings, without any attachment at all. That we are loving simply because they are. Simply because we are. And I got to tell you, man, that is the ultimate practice. Particularly if you're dealing with someone who's, 10 notches past crazy, or that's your perception of them. So our commitment here in Centers for Spiritual Living, we embrace love as the self-givingness of God to all of creation, moving through us into expression as compassion, caring, mutual respect, and kindness, that we express interest in and support for the well-being of others, ourselves and others, that we express unconditional love when observing the suffering of others. So we observe the suffering of others, and then we take action, we do what we can, and give and show compassion. And you know what? Sometimes that means letting people hit their bottom. And that is not easy to do. In fact, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So, what do I know about all this? That Spiritual living, this is from Dr. Edward Villion, spiritual living may be thought of as the practice of duplicating the nature of the divine in our human experience. Spiritual living. So we're in Centers for Spiritual Living. I guess that makes us spiritual livingness. So we're religious scientists who come to a Center for Spiritual Living to practice knowing that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life of God expressing in, through, and as this manifest universe, that our thought vibrates within it to bring forth that which is our deepest desire. And yes, it is love points the way, the law makes the way possible. And yeah, we do spend a lot of time talking about the law, but you know what? It takes a lot of focus to change things. If it were easy, everyone, we'd all be millionaires, riding unicorns. Yeah. The mind is a very, very busy place, Mr. Gwenka says. And when you practice meditation, you see just how true that is. Try to stop thinking. Right? But we're not trying to stop thinking. What we're doing is we are shifting the tendency of our thought to a new thought. That's what we're doing. Right? So in this way, we're not breaking an old habit. We're bending, we're staying flexible, we're learning how to move through life in a harmonious way and in alignment with the One, to create situations and circumstances in our life that improve our connection with life itself. Now, it may look like closing a good business deal, or buying a house, or falling in love, or disciplining our children. That's what it might look like in the outer world. But at that deeper level of life, it is that place within you and within me that has never been violated, that it is the divine itself, longing to express itself confidently, courageously. That's been a challenge for me because I hate feeling like a girly man. I hate that vulnerable stuff. Man, that stuff's for the birds. And yet I know that's where the power is. Right? I know that because as I move into that, then I am moving into a place where the power of the Spirit can really have its way with me and can do for things that maybe I would not have been able to do for myself, which for me is the most effective demonstration. The demonstration where I've got the timeline and it's going to happen like this and it's going to boom, boom, boom. No, I like the one where I set, okay, Spirit, this is me talking now. And I know that you're there, you're everywhere present. I know you're alive and well in the soul of me, and this is what I need to have happen. And I need it to happen ASAP. And I am open and receptive to allow my consciousness to be cultivated to receive all the good that you have to share with me. And I'm willing to know that within me that needs to be healed for that receptivity, that I'm willing now for that to be healed, even if I have to cry a little bit, even if I have to get soft a little bit, even if I have to say I'm sorry, I was wrong a little bit. I could have done that better. I meant to make room for you in that moment, and I didn't. I'm sorry. You know, when we listen and pay attention, it becomes pretty clear. Now, there's another way of saying this, and I think this is what you were speaking to, Reverend Jessica. So what we're at work at. But then, in order to focus, sometimes we need someone who's going to give us a good swift kick in that which sits. So, there is a thinking stuff, and this is one of Wallace Wattles' things. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made. He's just calling God in a different way. There's a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. Holmes says, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what it thinks into it. Saying the same thing. Jesus said, pray as if it's already done. Ask, and it is given unto you. That I have come to that you might live life and live it more abundantly. So he goes on further to say in this part, let me see if I have this on the next line. This was your quote. We'll come back to that. So there's a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. That man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Now, for an empirical scientist, this kind of thing makes him kind of nuts. Because what it sounds like is we're making stuff out of nothing. But we're not making stuff out of nothing. Right? God is making stuff out of itself. Right? The Spirit is making stuff out of itself so that we might live life and live it more abundantly. So then, if we are playing small in our life, who do we need to work on? More God? Or do I need to work on my own consciousness? Yeah. So he talks about, in order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. So what does competitive mind mean? A competitive mind believes in what? Separation. Me against you. Me against the universe. Can't get a break from the man. The game is rigged. What's the use? That's where you end up. What's the use? And if you stay there long enough, you end up in despair. And once you're in despair, then you have a whole nother bag of issues to work with in your consciousness that have to do with that don't have anything to do with attracting a new mate or getting a new car. Yes or no? Yeah. So, in order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the thing he wants, hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose of getting what he wants, and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind to all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith, that he may receive what he wants when it comes. Man must now act upon the people and things in his present environment. So earlier when I spoke about agnosticism in my religion of origin, more specifically parts of it. So I'm going to ask you, what parts of that do you feel a little agnostic about? Well, it may be true for Reverend Mike, but I don't think that's true for me. Or it may be true for someone who's got this really awesome life whom you admire. But that's not true for me. That's the thought we have to work on. That's the one. If it's going to be, it's up to me. Right? If I'm going to shift my consciousness, I have to do the work. If I'm going to bench press 160 pounds by my birthday, I've got to go to the gym and press the weight and not talk Susan into going for me. It's not going to work. Never does. So consider the story of my father. So there is reason why I shared all that. How many of us are putting in that kind of work into our practice? First thing in the morning, right? The Angelus at lunch, right? Just checking in at lunchtime. Okay, Spirit, knowing I have this affirmation I'm working on. Before bed, the affirmation that I'm working on, right? With that kind of mental focus, coupled with a sense of gratitude and thanksgiving and love for all people, that we can't help but be successful. I see the light. I'm not done yet.
He's changing batteries.
So I just, and I'm going to share this last thing, because this falls under the Dr. Maureen Ain't God Cute scenario. So I have this deck of Conversation with God cards from Neil Donald Walsh. All right, so this is what I pulled today. And oftentimes in religious science, I will hear people, and I know that I've said it early on myself, what's God's will for me? I just want to do God's will. Well, you know what? That's kind of lazy consciousness. Right? When I surrender, it's very passive. Now, I'm inviting divine guidance into my life for sure. But what do I want? What do I want? And so this was the card that pulled up. I want for you what you want for you. So imagine if Spirit's saying this to you right now. Think about something you want to see demonstrate in your life right now. And all the silly things that you've been playing around with why that can't be. Or maybe even a God's will thing. And you hear Spirit. Close your eyes right now. Okay? Think of that thing. I want for you, my beloved, I want for you what you want for you. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't sit here and make a judgment, request by request, whether something should be granted to you. My law is the law of cause and effect, not the law of will see. It's not the law of will see. So will see is one of those things, for those of us who've had kids in our lives, I want, can I have, and we say, we'll see. So there's no deflection with Spirit. There's just yes. So let's end with that. Call the musicians up. Let's take a deep breath. It's only natural to want to cultivate a more abundant life. Let's not be afraid to put that out there. And just being mindful, what is it that I want? Do I want more stuff just so I can have more stuff? Do I have a consciousness of acquisition just for the sake of acquiring? That's another one. What hole am I trying to fill by acquiring? So today, let's consider the way that we can practice oneness, the oneness of Spirit with all our brothers and sisters out there, particularly the ones who we may find annoying in their earthly representation, to see the light of the divine in them and to know that they see it within ourselves as well, that we know that we are courageously radiating the power and presence, the love that God is. See how that changes the week, and come back next week and we'll check in with each other.
I was born by the river ends. And oh, just like that mighty river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know the change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I just don't know what's up there beyond that sky. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. So I go to the movies and I go downtown. All the people around there tell me, don't hang around. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. So I go to my brothers. I say, brothers, won't you please help me? All that ends up happening is them kicking me down, back down on my knees. Oh, there was a time when I thought I wouldn't last too long. Now I know I can carry on. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been a long, long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Well, that was pretty impressive. Thanks, Jerry. Nailed it.
Sorry.
All right, so as we prepare our gifts for the offering, remembering those of us in class on Wednesday, we'll take the offering then, and Ken will take us in.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through me.
All right, so just going within for just a moment longer, just recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of consciousness. It knows and knows that it knows that there's an original thinking substance of which we're playing with here, and that this heart of At the heart of generosity is being expressed here this morning by means of these gifts. And so, representing the heart of this community, we accept these gifts with deep love, respect, and appreciation as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. Everyone here this morning, anyone connected to this center in any way, that we extend this knowing and this blessing to our friends in this community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, all of its, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them. That we know for our planet as well that all of it is an emanation right out of the mind of Spirit itself. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating right now in all ways, great and small. This lifts our hearts and empowers us into ways of spiritual living, into ways of seeing the divine in expression in, through, and as all of life, and allows us to experience spiritual living where we shift and lift our own consciousness and bring others along with us. We are grateful, and together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So please help me thank lovely Rita and Miss Chloe. Come on in, kids.
That's a good song. All right, so come on up here, kids. How you doing, man? Boy, you've grown over the summer. Like you were down here before, and now you're up there.
No.
Yeah, you were. No. That was the day you told me you were a Patriots fan, and it was okay. All right, so what did we do back there today?
Today we were focusing on how positive is better than being negative. So we were cheering and booing while me and Al were playing a game. And when we were cheering, you would do better. When you were getting booed, you would do worse.
Oh.
And we talked about think, which is it thoughtful? Is it helpful? Is it important? Is it necessary? And is it kind?
Nice. Good job, man.
And we also did another thing where we would say mean things and shake up this bottle of fizzy water, then give it to the next person. We did that about 3 times. It was really fun. And then, what's most fun about it is when you open the bottle, it would explode all the fizzy water. And that showed that if you be mean to a person, eventually they're going to explode and show emotion.
Wow, that's some good stuff. Well, you got a lot better lesson than we did today. All right, so what we got going here?
Tell him your name. What's your name?
Harper.
Harper. Wonder Woman.
What did you make? What did you make?
I made one of these.
Okay, and what is this?
I don't know.
They learned about treatment, so they did the steps of treatment, and as they did the steps of treatment, they put different pictures and images on the CD, and so it reflects when they hang it up outside. So they learned all the steps of treatment. They did it one step at a time.
All right, good job, kids. Good job, teachers. Good job, parents. Yes. Oh. Okay. So let's invite our new practitioners. Yes. Have you stood and been acknowledged yet? Yeah, that happened last week. And we're going to have a big ceremony, but yeah, so Nikki, Charlotte, come on up here to the front. And Andre, I think, had to leave. And Susan Amsing, come on up. She was holding high watch. That snoring you heard was Steve, not Susan, because she was in meditation. All right, so let's give them a hand, huh? Brand new practitioners. Nice job. All right, so let's, don't go anywhere. Stay up here. All right, so we're going to invite our practitioners to circle the room, visiting ministers, and Reverend Jessa, pray us out.
Yes. Just continuing in this consciousness, continuing in this agreement that love is all that there is. We know that we have been uplifted and that we are uplifting others, that we are creating a world that works for everyone. Just being in that, it comes easily to circulate through us as us, living God's life. How grateful I am to know this truth about each and every one of us, to know that we are in agreement about it, and to know that we do extend our loving kindness as we move through our lives, knowing that we have trained our mind to go to the love place first and then put into the creative medium our thoughts to manifest that love. So we just allow that to be. We relax into it. We allow it. And we can affirm that by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Please stand for the peace song.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I'll sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor. 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. Old time rock and roll, the kind of music that soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Won't go to hear and play a tango. I'd rather hear some blues or funky old soul. There's only one sure way to get me to go. Start playing old time rock and roll. Call me a really, call me what you will. Say I'm a fashion, say I'm over the hill. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. The kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Old time rock rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that all-time rock and roll.